So the big question is this: how are commercial real estate brokers like us, who didn't take on debt to start their own brokerage, who are stuck in the hamster wheel of day-to-day selling, how do we sell real estate and build our businesses in a way that lets us develop rockstar teammates and create enough leverage to back away from day-to-day selling? How do we get our services, ideas, and insights out into the world and yet still create passive wealth? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brett Swarts, and welcome to the Expert Commercial Real Estate Secrets Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Looking forward to sitting here with Brett Swarts, Capital Gains Tax Solutions. And we're talking real estate today, commercial or residential, really, and how to really grow your business. And what we wanted to chat about today, we're going to talk about is thinking about your business over the summer, right? We're sitting here. It's June 25th, 2021. We got July 4th right around the corner, and coming back post July 4th, ready to really accelerate your business, hyper focus, so you can finish the year strong. I think is really, really important. And so I think first, and we've talked about this before, Brett, I think first, the important thing is, you got to be in the mindset that you're going to enjoy the summer, but you're also going to have a very specific and measurable, detailed business plan to be hyper focused and continue to drive those leading activities that build your business. It's not the time to fully go to the sidelines. And I say that because I think a lot of people are feeling freedom for the first time in a year and a half with COVID restrictions lifting. Many people are vaccinated, feeling very, going on meetings, going to events. And so it's going to take a little extra mind power to hyper focus into that.
Yeah, I can't agree. I can't agree with you more. It's easy to go back to old habits or bad habits, right? Especially when change happens, and the change is happening for the positive now, right? With more freedom, more opportunity, more travel, more all of the things that we so much enjoyed. Part of, I think, the blessing of COVID was it kind of forced people to work really hard and adapt. And at least that's what it did for me. Because I was like, well, if I'm gonna be stuck not being able to do things, I might as well work.
Yeah.
Right. And so worked a lot and got online, got on YouTube, got on podcasts, met more and more with clients via the Zoom and via just not getting in cars. Right. So now it's the opposite. So it's kind of like the pendulum swinging from one spot to the other. And so you're absolutely right. Getting focused on the fundamentals again and not taking it to the other side, John. I think it's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think focusing and saying, okay, what's my business plan, right? So I think a lot of people are going to start to check out kind of Wednesday, Thursday of next week, enjoy the 4th of July weekend. That Monday's a holiday, Tuesday people get ramped back up. But I think you want to be ready with your July and August business plan now. So when you get back July 6th, how many calls you're making a day, how many centers of influence you're calling every day, how many meetings you want to go on a week, how your, what your marketing is going to be, all of that type of stuff that is so important to do now.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, Sean, your experience, you trained and coached amazing commercial real estate brokers over the years and other professionals now as your business coach now. What are those key metrics? And more so, not just that, but how are the best measuring that on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis?
Yeah. I think those metrics are phone calls, meetings, whether you call it a BOV, a proposal, whatever it is, getting those, whether you're in commercial or residential, are setting those standards. I'm gonna make X amount of cold calls a week. I'm gonna make X amount of cold calls a day. I'm gonna make X amount of calls to my past clients. I'm gonna make X amount of calls to my centers of influence. I'm going to market the following and have a very detailed editorial calendar. And that editorial calendar is going to look like this, X, Y, and Z. Every Monday, I'm going to post this. Every Wednesday, I'm going to post this. Every Tuesday, I'm going to post this. very, very specific, and time blocking everything to make time that you're doing it, and really utilizing your CRM in a very detailed way. So not only are you time blocking using your CRM, and very focused on, being a student of your calendar and executing at just a very high level. If we don't, then we're going to hit Labor Day feeling like we're behind.
Yeah, well said. So phone calls, meetings, proposals, BOVs. I like the way you put calls to past clients like an X amount of number, right? So you don't, forget the opportunities for referrals, and as well as taking care of your clients, and setting calendar for also posting. You may be posting deal close stories or new listing opportunities, or something of value that could help your clients, right? And help to reach out to more centers of influences. Time blocking and CRM. So the 80-20 principle comes to mind here, John, right? So, right, 20, what's it? 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions.
Yeah.
Right. And so how can someone implement that with the things that you just said?
Implement the
action steps, what's the biggest challenge for people when it comes to, is it time blocking to get these things done? Because we know what these things are, right? I mean,
you got it. It's all about execution. To me, that's the differentiator of, good to great to exceptional. Do you have the discipline and the resilience every day to come to work, whether you're going to a home office, an office, it doesn't matter. Can you execute? Are you prepared every single day with, okay, tonight I'm preparing all my calls for tomorrow. Tonight I'm getting my calendar ready for tomorrow. Tonight I'm setting my plan for tomorrow. And then you come and you execute, right? That's the key. Time blocking and execution. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about is so simple, it's complicated. Right. And it's rinse and repeatable. I think the tough part comes is that you always have to be growing your skill set. You always have to be growing your craft, and you want to kind of stay on the plateau. And by doing the same thing and being consistent every day, it's not always sexy and fun, but it's consistent. And that's what you need. That's the key.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also want to dive into a strategy that's kind of helped me over the last year. And it's the idea of building a team to help you design, delegate, decide, and do things, right? For example, one of the biggest things that we've been told as real estate professionals, as sales professionals, is to get on video, right? And to create content, and it can be kind of daunting to consider, okay, I'll get on a video, but then I got to edit the video, and then I've got to post the video, and then I'm a full-time video person now, right? Versus doing the thing that I love to do, which is being with my client and solving problems and presenting solutions for people. And so when it shifted for me was I hired a team, right? I hired a team, or started with just one, and I started to delegate those tasks. So I would create the content, and then she would edit the content and post the content, right? So that's my executive assistant. And we quickly moved to another assistant who's just a full-time videographer, and then another assistant who's a full-time podcast and kind of YouTube blog profession, right? And now we have 5, and it's really centered around these 4 things. And these 4 things are the 4 Ds. And the first one that we typically get caught in is the doing part, right? The doing part of whether that be editing the blog or editing the video post or even making the content, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the highest and best use, I think, for most professionals is what we're doing now, like creating the content, being face-to-face with clients. It's not necessarily doing all of the editing and the back-end work, the operations work, if you will. The second thing that we get caught into is the decide, right? Mm-hmm. Where if you do hire a team member, how much time and energy is it taking? When I first started doing or building a team, it was like, wow, I feel like there's more work on me because they're coming at me for questions, and I spend my whole day just answering questions and not actually getting the actual work that's the most important done. And it's like, well, I'll just go back to doing it myself. You get caught in this trap, right? But it's empowering those professionals that are on your team with information and the confidence to make decisions on your behalf in the vision of the company where you're moving forward to, right? So that's the second thing. How do you move the decisions from yourself, having to make them all, and empower your teammates to do that? So I'm going to pause on those two before we get into delegate and design. What do you think?
And no, keep on going. I think it's great. Keep on going.
Okay. So the next one will be delegate. Okay. So ideally we delegate. We know we need and want to delegate, right? But the problem is, as entrepreneurs, as professionals, we're very, very confident in what we do, right? And we're like, well, I can do this better than anybody else. Why do I delegate? I can get it done faster, quicker, and better. I'm either afraid it's going to make me look bad, or it's not going to be as great of a product for my client.
Right.
And therefore, I'm just going to control this thing. And therefore, guess what? Your business is not really going to grow as much as you could have, right? So as I delegate it more, as I empowered more, by the way, this takes training, right? You don't want to just, throw someone out in the middle of a lake who hasn't learned how to swim yet, right? And expect them to perform well. But learning the art and science of delegating properly. And the last one is design. And this is really where things make a huge difference, when you can start to look at a big view and design your business, and spend the majority of your time and energy designing versus, again, just the doing part, right? And so we're all constantly making decisions every single day. And I've been asking myself this week, John, am I designing and delegating more, which is really the goal, right? Yeah. That's the goal. I want to be on those two top Ds. Or am I deciding and doing, right? And again, some things you're always going to do, right? Because you do it best. And it's back to the 80-20 rule. 20% of what I do produces 80% of the results. And so for me, I found that's being on podcast, creating YouTube content, face-to-face or Zooming with clients, right? Even sometimes underwriting properties or solving problems on the tax deferral side of things, right? So those are things, there are certain things I can only do, but there's also other things that I should never be doing, right? Things that other people can probably do better than me, but take away from the things that I'm uniquely gifted to do. Does that make sense, John?
100%. No, I think you hit on one of a lot of great points, but one of the biggest issues is that people are afraid to delegate. They think that nobody can do it better than them. And, to me, I always say to people, how do you allocate your price per hour? It doesn't matter if they say 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 or more. It's then once they start realizing a lot of the things that they're doing are, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50 an hour activities, and they should be doing leading activities that are generating $500 an hour. It starts to shift everything. And so I think that's critical. No, you bring up some great points, and that and getting focused for the summer, July, August, so you can start Labor Day with kind of your Labor Day through end of year business plan, and just take it in small chunks. I think that, and then you execute and you commit to the process. You're key. I think those are great tools.
In the very beginning, you mentioned time blocking, right? I think it has to start with taking an assessment and underwriting your time and your energy over the course of a week, right? Yeah. So and then underwriting based upon okay, for this next hour, or first of all, what am I doing all week, right? Like let's just track what I've been doing this past week and do that for 5 straight days and say, all right, I checked my email at this time, and I checked it again at this time, and then I responded this time, and then I underwrote a property this time, and then I cold called this, and a random acts of cold calling, right? Versus just focusing like a laser for the next hour and making 50 calls, right? And setting 3 meetings versus doing random acts of cold calling. So first of all, it takes an assessment of where is your time and energy. And I did this. I took a little training course on this, and it was eye-opening, right? Where I said, okay, well, what am I actually doing? And then what is the goal? And so I created in my Google Calendar, like the ideal week, right? The time that I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go to sleep, right? I'm going to work out. I'm going to, for me, it's reading the Bible, praying, meditating in the morning, my miracle morning. And then it's time to not check email. This is, by the way, one of the things that I've learned. I've been able to delegate slowly a chunk of the emails, right? Where my assistant, along with me, is reading and looking and being able to respond to certain things that I don't need to respond to or see, right? So about 40% or 50% of the emails over the past 6 months have slowly been able to be delegated to her, right? Yeah. But I assessed when I looked at emails. And for me, I found it's best for me not to look at emails in the morning, right? Have her look at it first, do the best she can to respond to the things that she can solve, and then mark the ones that perhaps she isn't really sure how to solve.
Right.
Then I go back and I solve those, right? But she's learning along the way, right? So it's teaching and training her to be able to be an empowered team member there, versus me just getting in the morning and being like, okay, I'm just going to do this thing, right? And I'm just going to just solve this thing. And you get that, those quick wins in your mind or emotion, like, I got these, I'm solving these things. Well, at the cost of what, right? Your time and your energy that you could be doing what? Cold calling, right?
Correct. Warm
creating
calling.
Content, right? The things that are higher and better use for yourself and for your clients, right? Versus just checking emails. Does that make sense, John?
100%. No, 100%. I mean, I think, if anybody can walk away with this and track their time for 3 to 5 days, amazing. Yeah. It'll be eye-opening. And if you want to double, triple, quadruple your business, I mean, listen to this, 2 or 3 times, because we've given so many fundamental things for people to work on. So I think that's a wrap. I mean, that's a lot of content for I think somebody to digest. And I think it's great. So tell people about you and what you can do for them.
Yeah. So we help commercial real estate agents, luxury brokers help their clients defer capital gains tax when they sell highly appreciated assets. And so we help them grow their business by solving problems for their clients, especially when it comes to capital gains tax solutions. So you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, learn more about that, or experttaxsecrets.com to learn more about that. And we have a YouTube channel, all that stuff. But the heart of it, John, it's we like to solve problems, right? I like to say we're not in the business. I'm not in the business of selling a tax deferral strategy. John's not in the business of just being a business coach. We're in the business of solving problems for the people that we believe we've been called to serve, right? Yeah. And so for you, John, tell folks because people could be hearing this on my station too. So tell me a little bit more about tell them more about what you do.
Yeah, I'm a business coach. I work with solopreneurs to Fortune 100 companies and everything in between. I work with successful people who are stuck and get them unstuck, consistently unstuck. And I love it. JohnDwoskin.com. And I got a book, I got an ebook, and tons of resources, lots of videos, and some one-on-one group coaching, or everything's free on my website.
Amazing. Yep. Yeah. And John's got me unstuck. He's my personal business coach. Folks out there, full disclosure, baby.
Thanks.
But he's not paying me to say that. So
no.
Well, cool, John. Yeah, that is a wrap. We'll be back next week, right? We'll be talking about something.
Well, next week, right? Next week is July 4th weekend.
Oh, we'll skip that week, huh?
Yeah, so 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. All right, good, man. This was fun. Always a good time. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, John. Bye now.
Yeah, talk to you.
You have just listened to another information-packed episode of Expert Commercial Real Estate Secrets Podcast with Brett Swarts. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found it valuable. Visit expertcresecrets.com to access the show notes and to access more resources. That's expertcresecrets.com. Don't forget to leave a review and join us again next time.